Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be building a front bumper for my XJ project. So I've been weighing the costs of building my own bumper versus purchasing one. I don't think purchasing one is very feasible. They can get extremely expensive for the XJ. So I decided to purchase a pre-cut kit. So for the costs of the kit versus cost of new material, it's actually pretty cost effective. I like the idea of the kit. It takes all my thought process out of it. Not only that, if you want to customize it, you can customize it. Make it your own, add pieces to it. Now this kit I found on Amazon. It was pretty cheap. It's basically the same as JCR Off-Roads, only this kit was a little bit cheaper and it comes with everything you need on it. So we're going to go ahead and jump into it. And hopefully I don't screw anything up, but it's relatively simple. Let's do it. So most of our pieces are going to get bent to 90 degrees. A couple of them probably won't because they won't quite fit right. There's a certain degree that you will do them to, but really you're just bending them to the shape of the bumper. So once you get the rest of the pieces kind of done, you're going to be able to fold the other ones and know roundabouts where they need to be. There is a special degree that you can get to kind of help it a little bit better, but it's not necessary to have that exact measurement. There's a couple of ways you can find your angles. You can use a square, you can use a speed square, or I'm going to be using an angle finder. I think an angle finder or an angle gauge is a very handy tool, and that's what I'm going to be using today. I'm just going to set it on here. Going to zero it out, and now that it's at 0, this is my 0. So I want to bend everything 90 degrees to this angle right here. So I'm going to come up, set this upside down right there. I've got my workpiece clamped down really good, and we're just going to go up to 90 degrees. 89.9. I'm not a perfectionist. I'm going to say that's good enough. Next, we want to fold our side pieces up to 90 degrees. So once again, I'm going to take my angle gauge. I'm going to zero it. And I'm going to come over here and bend from here up. Now this was already a little bit bent, so it's going to be a little bit off. And once again, we're shooting for 90. $89.9. Pretty close. Now I'm just going to repeat that process on this other side here. I want to make sure it's zeroed out. We're at 0. Come over here. $89.9. Perfect. So we're going to be setting this aside. We're going to be moving on to our next piece. All right, so this piece here, we're wanting to do the same thing. We want this to be at 90. It really doesn't matter which way you go. It's the same for both sides. Clamp this puppy down, and we're going to get her to 90. At 9.9. Now, you don't have to have sheet metal clamps like this to be able to bend it. You can use whatever you need. Pliers. Pipe wrenches are really good. You get a whole lot of leverage. But keep in mind, if you're trying to bend it in one spot at a time, it's going to warp a little bit. So you'll have to evenly go across and bend a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there, so that you can get a nice uniform bend all the way across. Time to set this one aside. So next we're going to bend our little wing portions here. These here, you want to bend your first one to 90, then reposition and bend your next one to 90. Yeah. You're okay. What's up? Yeah. Come here, my little assistant. You sound tired. Yeah. Okay, so it's important with these wing sections that there is a right and a left. It doesn't matter which way you bend the first one, but you want to make sure you bend the second one just the opposite. My assistant is going to help us bend them real quick. Isn't that right, Luke? All right, so once again on this wing portion, I just went ahead and clamped down the center, but you want to bend 90 and then bend 90. I think Mama's ready for you now. Say bye. Say bye. Now that we got rid of the little one, I'm going to go ahead and finish bending. $89.1. Close. But that's all right. We can do a little more tweaking later. On to the next one. Now once again, you want to make sure that you are bending the opposite direction, because it is a right and a left. They are mirrors of each other. You want them to be different. $89.8. So next, you want to bend these little guys. Once again, there is a right and a left, so you want to make sure that you bend them opposite each other. Now these pieces here are actually your little side protectors that go on your edge here. So it's not going to be a straight 90-degree bend. So you're going to want to bend this to match up with this. It's going to be a little less than 90. I'm not sure. You can bend it, mash it up, bend it, match it up. We're going to go ahead and bend it quite a ways and do our adjustments later. So using our angle finder on this piece here, we went ahead and zeroed it out, and we're going to check what degree this one sits at if this one is 0. So where we want it to sit at is about 65 degrees. So when we bend this 65 degrees, that'll give us 0 across that plane. So we're going to bend this to 65 and hope it fits okay. Alright, so that's about 65. We're going to see where we sit in relation to our little wing piece. So looking at our pieces, it's not quite a perfect fit, but we can make it work. Alright, so I'm back out here with my assistant, who is cute as ever. Now that we've got this one bent to about where it fits-ish, we're going to bend this wing here till it meets up with this edge here. So I'm going to go ahead and set this one next to here, that way I don't screw up the next one. Alright, now your next piece, remember, you want to bend it opposite. You want it to be a mirror. 3, 2, 1, bend! Oh, you let go. We gotta bend. We gotta bend. 3, 2, 1, bend! He is not much help. So, in an effort to keep everything square, I have these magnets here from Harbor Freight. They work great. They're square. It's at a 90-degree angle. And you just plop them on there. It makes everything at 90, keeps it at 90. That way when you're tacking all your parts together, nothing moves on you. Okay, now that I have everything pretty much roughly where I want it to be, I can go ahead and start tacking this together. Now it's very important that you don't finish weld it currently, because we're going to test fit it before we finish weld it. Very important. Okay, so our next step would be test fitting it on the Jeep. I can already see I'm kind of sloping off a little bit, but I think it'll be all right. All right, so I test fit it. Everything looks okay. Nothing that can't be a little tweaked if we have to. I think it'll work out great. I'm really excited. All that's left is to finish burning this thing on in. Now, when you're welding it, you do not want to spend too much time in one area. You want to kind of bounce around quite a bit because it will get too hot and it'll start to warp and potato chip and banana, however you want to call it. It'll warp and then it won't be right anymore. So you want to keep it from getting too hot in any area at any given time. Okay, so I ran out of wire about 12:30 last night. So I had to wait till this morning. I went and got more wire at my local hardware store. I had 030 wire, but no 030 tips, and 035 tips, but no 035 wire. Don't know how I managed that, but we're all set now. I'm gonna go ahead and load her up and keep on burning. Okay, so now that we're all welded up, it's time to start grinding. A lot of grinding. I'm looking for a nice finish, so I'm going to try to round all my edges, kind of give it that factory look. Now that all my grinding's done, it's time for paint. I'm using Rust-Oleum truck bed liner in a can. The reason why I'm using this paint is it's easy to touch up. When I scratch anything, if I ruin anything on the bumper, if I decide to add anything, all I got to do is pull out a whiz can and match paint and it'll work out great. So this bumper also comes in with these tie-in brackets. The original bumper would only mount through these 3 holes here. So this bumper will also mount through those holes. But at this bumper, because of the nature of the bumper, it does need a whole lot more support, a whole lot more tie-in. So these are actually tie-in brackets. These will mount to your frame, and then your bumper will mount to these. So on the driver's side, it actually uses the bolts for the steering box. On the other side, you'll need to pick yourself up some hardware, some like 4-inch grade 8 bolts, or if you want to try to squeeze your hand in the frame or figure out a way to go through the frame, you can get some smaller bolts to bolt this to the passenger side. This is a very important step. Your bumper will not fit without this because it is spaced accordingly. So now that we've got everything mounted up, we need to shore up our wires to our fog lights. We need to tie those up. We're actually going to be using those wires to mount lights to this thing later. We need to relocate the vacuum canister. Now on my Jeep, it was mounted right here to the front bumper. So we're just going to move it back a little bit, turn it around, and mount it to this A-framed piece behind here, that's the fender support. We're going to go ahead and mount it right there. Okay, that is it. Hopefully you liked this video. If you did like this video, please give this video a thumbs up. As always, don't forget to subscribe. Say Dada. You say Dada? Yeah. Say Dada. Like that. Pardon all the drool on his face. He's got his teeth coming in.